Hello and welcome to this preview where we'll have a look into the science fiction roguelike game called Quasimorphosis, which is being developed by MgnmScrptmDvs or something like that. I will just display the name down here, might be an abbreviation, I don't know. And it's being published by HypeTrain Digital. And this game reminds me a lot of the Sword of the Stars The Pit, which I let's played over 10 years ago on my German channel. It was the very first game I played there. And there is actually The Pit 2 in development. I will just shorten it to The Pit now. And this one did a switch to 3D graphics and it just doesn't feel right anymore. Like the overview is worse, the controls are worse, and it felt so bad actually that I also decided not to do a preview of that one. But this is completely different now with Quasimorphosis. This one gave me the impression of this is what The Pit 2 should have looked like. And so yeah, let's have a look right into the game. And here we are in the game in this demo version, which is limited and also time limited version of the game, which had been released during the TurnbasedFest, which is an event going from the 8th to 12th of December. So if you're watching this video right after I publish it, you will still have a bit of time to get the demo version. But if you watch it later on, then you might need to wait if you want to check out the game yourself for a new version of the demo. The last time the developer released the demo in October, so every now and then there seems to be a new release. There is a tutorial in the game. We will not have a look into that. It gives some explanations about the basics of the game, which I will just explain you. And before we start a new game, we will have a quick look into the options menu, which is very basic at the moment, but additional stuff is going to be added until release. For example, we only can switch between English and Russian, and later on, according to the Steam page, there will be French, Spanish, German, and a couple of other languages. And we will be able to customize our controls, which is not in yet. So I gave some feedback to the developer and in the forums, and he already replied, and this was something which is going to be added later. And before we start a new game, I wanted to quickly show you this trailer here, which is showing some stuff which we will not see in this demo version, which is this spaceship thing, which is basically the whole setting of the game. And we are being sent on missions with our character, and we can clone the character, improve the character, and so on. And we probably don't need to actually do all the missions. We can select them from different planets or something like that. And on these missions we will have some kind of guidance as well, or some story stuff. So for example, you can see this dialogue popping up, which seems to be integrated into some bigger story setting thing, and this is all not part of the demo version. So I think this is just important to know, to put everything into perspective. And now we will start a new game. And before we do that, just pay some attention to the voice in this intro, and I will just show you a quick snippet and then I will just skip it.
At one time, we were asking each other about the soul and God. We were writing books.
Yeah, and I think that's has to be it already. You can skip it, you can also skip the whole thing. It's nice to have an intro, but the issue here is that the voice doesn't sound super professional. Maybe this Russian or East European accent also doesn't help it, but it sounds a bit overacted. But the more problematic thing is that it's much too slow. You're basically falling asleep while watching it, unless you skip it, of course, which is also not the point of the thing. I remember there was a game called, well, Realms of Arcania. You might know it. It's a game from the 90s. There was a new version of that game, an HD version, some years ago. And they also had a narrator which was super slow and narrated all the texts you had in the game. And you never waited until the narrator was finished because he was just so damn slow. And so yeah, you just skipped it all the time. And I have the feeling that this is the same with this intro here, which is a bit of a shame. I like that there's an intro, but this is just not not done well, I think. Alright, and the developer said that depending on the feedback, they might still change that. So we are in the game now, we can zoom in, zoom out. The graphics are looking pretty cool, I would say. A very clear communication from the game to the player. But we will see more awesome graphics and animations in a bit. Just to go quickly over the interface, in the top left we can see our weapon. We can have different types of ammunition. Right now we only have one. We can switch between single and semi-auto. We can also switch between up to 2 weapons which we have in our inventory, or which we have equipped. We can have additional weapons, of course, in our backpack. You can see that we have something to eat and some bandages, and we also have some backpack, and we can put some stuff here in this quick slot, which isn't really super useful at the moment. We have the health monitor, and there we can see our, well, we can also see our HP, but we can also see our hunger value. So every step we take is 1 turn basically, and that also decreasing the fullness by 1 point. Vision range 8, and we can see our body parts, and these might be damaged or even be destroyed or amputated. And that gives us a debuff, but also it can cause bleeding, and we need to bandage it to stop that bleeding. And there are a couple of balancing issues the game has, and I think the bleeding is one of them. So once you're bleeding, it might be game over if you don't have the right items. We have the map in the top right, so right now we don't see much. I think that could be a bit more clear, like the doors are not super obvious. And we have the Somnia in the Quasimorphosis phase. So I'm not 100% sure what it ends up with, but this is probably tracking our madness, which is progressing, and at some point we will probably share the same fate of all the enemies running around here, so we will go madder and madder. We get like more muscle mass, our regeneration is increasing, our aggression is increasing, and so on. So let's go into the first room here. And we found a stash with a new weapon. We can take everything with G. Unfortunately, if you have something empty, I would also like to press G to just close it, which is not possible at the moment. It auto-equipped the weapon in this other slot, so we can switch between the weapons now. So this is 9mm, and this is a different kind of ammo, so you also have this. Different ammo types, like ammunition for different weapons. So these are like fluff texts. This is also currently taking a turn basically to read. And the developer said that right now it's just fluff, but later on you will also find passwords or something like that in these things. So, because my point was that if it's just fluff, it would never be worth it to invest this turn basically. Alright. And there we got the first enemy, like Harpy something. And it's a bit stronger than the average enemy at the start, so we will try to kill it with a burst. You can, I think, no, this is just where we are going, but this is also kind of showing us which way the bullet is probably going to travel, so yeah. And you could see that we destroyed a piece of wall. So the area here is destructible, so there was a dog now. A dog can travel 2 tiles per turn, and I'm not sure if I open the door whether or not I will directly get attacked by the dog, so I'm not going to explore that right away. Maybe we will find a different entrance to that room. But apparently not. There's an auto dock. This is basically a station which can repair us, but we need to charge it with energy. So we don't have any energy at the moment. So this is the only path. But I think it was knocking on the door already. Maybe not. There's the dog. Alright. Alright. There's some some fat, ugly guy. And I think he is going to explode and damage everything nearby. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. You can see that our values here, ascent, is already increasing quite a bit. Oh, and apparently there was a barrel in the back, which we also hit. So the bullet calculation is being done realistically. Each bullet is calculated individually. Yeah, so the you have seen the the animations here of them falling apart are really cool. You can also probably see they have different phases. Sometimes you just shoot them and then the skin peels off and you still have this kind of skeleton running around. So the graphics are really cool, the animations are really cool. The music in the background is nice, though I did a recording previously and I had one situation where the music just stopped, so that's probably a bug which needs to be fixed. But the music is very cool, and I think the sound effects, they are quite realistic, immersive, and they give very good feedback. Like maybe you've played the very first Diablo game where you just feel drawn into the game, and every piece of action, like when you decapitate a monster and the head falls down to the floor and something like that, this really gives you gives the game more depth of well, it feels deeper, not like in terms of mechanics, but in terms of like the immersion and so on. So I found a hand of this guy and I disassembled it. I basically pulled the meat off his hand, and we can eat that if we really need to. We can also amputate our own leg and eat it. Probably not recommended, but we can. You can see on these crates that they are opened already. I don't think that there's anything in there if they are open. You can also press Alt to highlight all the interactable objects. But what you cannot see is where you already looked into, and especially for corpses, because with corpses there's no difference between looted or not looted, and so you don't know exactly where you already looked into. Oh, okay, so you saw we clearly aimed for this guy, but one bullet must have traveled there. I didn't quite see it, but yeah, killed them as well. One other cool thing is that... Is this a modified pistol? Okay, so this is the same as that one. You can also unload the ammo. You can scrap items, disassemble. Now you got weapon parts. And you can see this yellow bar. And if you have weapon parts, you can actually repair the weapon as well. Alright, we can just shoot one of these barrels. And I really recommend to not stand near a barrel. Even the fire is super deadly. So if you're burning, then it's almost game over. So for the t-shirt, for example, we can also disassemble it. We get some rags out of that. And with these rags, we can bandage our wounds, stop the bleeding. This will not really fix a limb or anything like that. But yeah, it will prevent us from dying right away. And then we might make it back to the med station and get fixed there. Our goal is basically to find the exit of each level. Like an elevator, like in good old Doom or Wolfenstein or Corridor 7 or Blakestone, well, you name it. Maybe we also need to eat something soon. Yeah, we are halfway down. So let's eat some cans here. This was also doing some healing. And now we are good to go again. Yeah, the sounds are really cool, these chants. And this is a very problematic thing right now, and this is also going to stay in the game. You have a chance that there's some enemy coming out of a corpse. And these have an immediate turn. So if there is like a dog or something coming out of the corpse, they can immediately charge you and attack you, and maybe even hurt you in a very bad way. And this one is also a very, well, hard. In this case, we have the right weapon and we like hit with everything. But yeah, it can be extremely brutal to... Nice. To find an enemy, get an enemy in a corpse and just be devastated by that spawn. And this is also something which still needs to be adjusted in terms of balancing. Yeah. Alright. So, I mean, you can imagine what would have happened if that enemy was standing right in front of us and was hitting us all the time. We would already be dead. Also, there are melee weapons in the game, but I really advise not to do any melee. That's super deadly. But this, and we actually decreased our madness by 300 by killing that one. And we find a skull, and this skull is giving us fire resistance of 5%. Let's switch. I will only have one shot left anyways. Alright. So now we cannot really escape the attack anymore. So this is kind of a problem. I think there should be maybe some skills or so that you can at least jump once in a while and get 2 tiles away, because once someone is following you, you cannot get rid of them anymore. The only exception is that you will try to get to a door, but I'm not sure if that's... Yeah. It was not possible in this case, so it's even worse now. So we got hit by 24 damage. But in theory, you can also... I will try that with... No, we were already there. I will try that with the next door. You can also barricade a door, and then it cannot be opened anymore. But the enemies will try to destroy the doors, if I'm not mistaken. So we have got 3 enemies here. Let's go there. And now we can block the door. Yeah, nice. So we managed to stun the enemy. So every shot has like a chance to stun and so on, and that depends on the ammo. So can we reload that? No. We can reload this one. So reloading is coming with a timer, so you need to wait for a bit. And we increased our accuracy by a bit, alright. But this looks like we might be able to find some... Yeah, we found some energy. Maybe also a new weapon and ammo in... here, nice. Alright, there we got a scanner. And actually we might need to eat something soonish. We can just eat this. This is a scanner, and you can use that to find new other enemies, stuff to loot. And you can also use your energy to recharge it. And if you use it now, you can also see that the elevator is down here. So we are essentially in the wrong direction. Alright, here we are. And... Oh, no. Alright, some more stuff to loot, actually. A grenade. Leggings Glory. Resist cold. Ah, okay. So there is a comparison that it's showing us which is better. So maybe this was what the developer was talking about. Alright. There's the elevator, but there's also some more loot. Alright, next level. And this is where we will probably die. Because now I think in pretty much every enemy... okay, well, it's still just 20 damage. I'm not sure if we can shoot past that. Alright. So you can see that he's got sword and shield or something. It's empty. We also cannot reload. And now you can see that, well, weapon is damaged. We can't use that anymore. We don't have anything to attack the enemy anymore, which is not good. So what can we do now? I think the only option we have is to throw a grenade, which we will throw over there. And then we essentially need to take the hits. But there was an enemy getting out of that, and with that we're dead. So yeah, death by running out of ammo, which was very unfortunate. I don't think that we could have... Well, we could have used the ammo a bit more efficiently by not using burst all the time. But I think you got the idea. One thing which I wanted to show you, which I wasn't able to do yet, was like the shotgun, which we randomly got now. So every time you start a new game in this demo version, you will have a new random character basically. But this is also one of the probably major things which is going to change for the release version. Because then you will have... let me check what the developer mentioned. New classes, new characters, weapons, augmentations, pacts with demons and so on. So it's not about starting off stronger every time, but give you more options. Which sounds interesting. Like with Swords of the Star, the Pit. So now we do have the shotgun, and you can also see that the different bullets, like, they are spreading out. And you can also see that every time we reload, we just put one bullet back into the rifle, which I think is quite cool. They're a bit stupid, I think. Yeah, and... Die! Alright. And with that, we do have a knife, so what the last thing we will do now is to amputate our head, which we can do, and which results in a death. Not very surprisingly. I'm not sure what the point of amputating your head is, but alright. Well, that's it for a Quasimorphosis. If you're interested in that game, then make sure to check it out on Steam. As I mentioned, if you are in time, or maybe if you're lucky and a new demo was released, then you can also download the demo version. Otherwise, you can of course still wishlist the game and follow the future development. And now you can see that the music also stopped playing, and I think that's a bug. Anyway, any case, that's it from me. I hope I have been able to give you a good overview of the game. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.